You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
All writers are prone to becoming so attached to our characters and stories that we struggle to see why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing to full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, shaping stories into masterpieces that can stand the test of time. Editing services are provided for all genres and all age categories. Services range from critiques of the short story through to line edits of the full-length novel and copy editing for those preparing for publication. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites, as well as help with those book blurbs and promotional material. We won't abandon you to the masses. We want to celebrate with you in your successes. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services and prices, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-610-9050. That's 800-610-9050. 800-610-9050.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
The following message contains a special offer for listeners of this station. Are you a man over 40? Are you constantly looking for the nearest bathroom? Do you wake up multiple times a night to use the bathroom? Right now, Perfect Prostate is sending out free bottles of their groundbreaking new formula to listeners of this station. Perfect Prostate formula was developed by medical doctor Mitchell Fleischer, and its ingredients have been clinically studied to reduce your frequent nighttime bathroom visits and promote healthy urine flow. Right now, preferred customers get their first bottle of Perfect Prostate absolutely free. There's nothing to lose. Perfect Prostate is guaranteed to reduce that constant urge to use the bathroom, especially at night, and promote healthy urine flow. Don't wait. Call now for your free bottle. Just pay shipping and processing. Dial 1-800-675-0251. That's 1-800-675-0251. Supplies are limited. One free bottle per household. Call now. Dial 1-800-675-0251. That's 1-800-675-0251.
Hey folks, I want to introduce you to a friend of mine, Dr. Richard Hardin. We are on the same mission, which is waking up America. We just have different paths. So stay tuned for some information on how you can keep up with Richard and all his work.
Visit Richard's website at rahardin.com. That's the World Wide Web at rahardin.com. At his website, you can see a summary of the 6 books he has written, where purchases may be made. He also has a link to 18 videos on YouTube and several blogs about Christian beliefs. If you prefer, visit amazon.com/Kindle and type in Richard Hardin to see and purchase his books.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps stand ready to defend the American way of life. The few, the proud, the Marines.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
They say we offer simple answers to complex problems. Well, perhaps there is a simple answer. Not an easy answer, but simple.
It's common ground. It's common ground. It's common ground. It's common ground.
We have serious problems to solve, and we need serious people to solve them. Republicans and Democrats.
All right, so while we're getting past an ad that I wasn't expecting, welcome to Finding Common Ground. I'm one half of the crew, Mr. Big Robinson. We also have a third co-host with us today, Mr. Dave Brown, the original left chair co-host of Finding Common Ground, who actually, believe it or not, had a birthday yesterday. So in honor of that, here in just a second, as soon as this Henri annoying ad stops playing, we actually have a song that I want to play in honor of the fact that yesterday was his birthday. So welcome to Finding Common Ground. We'll get kicked off in just a second after I give a really good friend a really hard time for now being another year older. So bear with me for just a second while we get this kicked off. Except that's not the song I wanted to play. There we go.
Once a year we celebrate with stupid hats and plastic plates. The fact that you were able to make another trip around the sun. And the whole clan gathers round and gifts and laughter do abound. And we let out a joyful sound and sing that stupid song. Happy birthday, now you're 1 year older. Happy birthday, your life still isn't over. Happy birthday, you did not accomplish much, but you didn't die this year, I guess that's good enough.
So let's drink to your fading health and hope you don't remind yourself your chance of finding fame and wealth decrease with every year. Does it feel like you're doing laps and eating food and taking naps and hoping that someday perhaps your life will hold some cheer? Happy birthday! What have you done that matters? Happy birthday! You're starting to get fatter. Happy birthday! It's downhill from now on. Try not to remind yourself your best years are all gone.
If cryogenics were all free, then you could live like Walt Disney and live for all eternity inside a block of ice. But instead your time is set, this is the only life you get. And though it hasn't ended yet, sometimes you wish it might.
Happy birthday!
You wish you had more money.
Happy birthday!
Your life's so sad it's funny.
Happy birthday!
How much more can you take? But your friends are hungry, so just cut the stupid cake.
Happy birthday! Happy birthday! Happy birthday!
Ralph Cramden, Stanley, Slipper,
Frank,
Skippy the bush kangaroo.
Starts with
when the weather is nice, you know.
Malachi.
Bubba!
Okay, so it kind of falls apart from there because they just keep shouting out random names. Oddly enough, they never make it to Dave. So happy birthday, Dave. For those of you who don't know, that is the funniest birthday song ever by the Arrogant Worms, and I usually make a habit of sending that out to really good friends. And instead of doing it on Facebook this year, I figured, hey, you're on the radio with me the day after your birthday, so I'll just do it now.
I actually really liked that. That was catchy. It's all get out. So that's why you couldn't see me, because obviously this isn't video, and thank God, because it would break all your screens. But I was dancing along. It was had a nice little funky beat in there.
Yeah, that actually was one of the better birthday songs I've ever heard.
I just like it because it's completely sarcastic, and it's just that's like my second language. It's like, hey, you're old and your life sucks, but happy birthday to you.
Well, it's not wrong. So
whatever. That was not even the intent behind the song. I just find it funny.
Oh, I know.
So anyway, I mean, you can we can worry about how badly each of our individual lives suck when we're not on the air.
Poor Ricky was like, "Damn, this just got dark."
No, I kind of actually figured it was coming anyway. I mean, there's not a conversation that you and I have that eventually doesn't at some point turn dark, especially around birthday time.
Ain't that the truth, man?
Yeah.
You had a couple fogies like us, honorary old white guys, and I mean, geez, I mean, the country did just elect an honorary old white guy into the Oval Office. That's so it's fitting, right?
Well, I mean, I'll be just as depressed in May when I'm about to be 44. God, I'm old.
God bless you.
All right, so anyway, I think we've given Dave a hard enough time for his birthday. But again, happy belated birthday. I actually kind of felt bad because lately I've gotten so used to Facebook reminding me when people's birthdays are that I don't really keep track of them anymore. I just wait for Facebook to tell me, and then I realized I was never on Facebook yesterday. So I saw Steve's email to you, and I'm like, holy crap, I forgot. I knew there was something about today.
Dude, don't feel bad. I can't keep any of that crap straight anymore. And thank God Facebook does that, because that is a really handy feature. Because otherwise, I would probably look like a complete dick for forgetting everyone's birthday. Because outside of my family, I don't know if I can remember anyone's birthday without being reminded. And so don't feel bad. I don't expect anyone to remember my birthday unless they happen to log into Facebook and see that reminder and go, oh, yeah, that fat one-handed guy was born today. So let's say something nice to him.
I have a question about that because of how useful it's actually become. Does anybody else have a friend like this? Because I have a couple of friends who intentionally put their birthday wrong on Facebook so they can see who actually remembers their real birthday. Is it me, or is that just a really crappy thing to do?
That is honestly just the worst thing to do to somebody.
That is awful. That is.
Because I actually had one a few months ago that I hadn't really talked to in a while, but I saw the alert for their birthday, and I'm like, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. So I was like, happy birthday. They sent me a direct message. They're like, yeah, see, you're one of those people. And I'm like, really? So you set your birthday wrong on purpose just so you could see who could actually remember what your real birthday was? First of all, how self-centered
is that? Yeah. Okay, so great minds, because we're thinking the same thing. How self-centered and egotistical and arrogant is that? Oh, you don't remember my birthday? No, MFer, I don't. I got crap going on. I'm lucky I remember my kids. Shoot, son. We have all got lots of poo going on. So if someone forgets your birthday, it's not because they don't like you. It's because they got crap going on and they need to be reminded. We used to write them on calendars. Back in the day before we had Facebook and our phones just popping crap up at us all the time, we had these things on paper. They're called calendars. You hang them on the wall. Kids, you might not know what this is. I know it's not flashy and you don't touch it and it move around, but it's okay. I'm talking about real things here from the past history. But we had these wonderful things that had the date and what day of the week it fell on. It told you what month it was, and you bought them every year. And you would write all the important stuff on there. And sometimes, how did you remember? As you're taking down last year's calendar and putting up this year's calendar, you go through. You're like, okay, so Susie Joe, that's on November 4th. Got to write that down. So, yeah, no. I mean, yeah. See, that's not an egregious sin. Here's an egregious sin that is in modern society. Fourth graders that don't know their phone numbers or addresses. I run into that crap every day.
They don't. Okay, that's a little extreme. They don't know their phone. Actually, phone numbers. Maybe I guess I understand. Because I guess like you have contacts, but
no. These kids, they don't have cell phones. Most of them. So if you don't have a cell phone, and you don't know your parents' phone number, or you don't know your address, that is something. Not only did we teach our kids, but our kids had to learn that in pre-K. They had to learn it again in kindergarten, in first grade, in second grade. This is something they were legitimately tested every year for those first few years of elementary school because it's a safety thing. How the fudge do you not know your home address? Yeah. And then the scary part is when you get adults and they're like, "I don't know my home address." I'm like, really?
Yeah, that's a problem.
Okay, well, to be fair, and this is something that I hadn't had to deal with in a while because, you know, we recently bought the house out here. But believe it or not, it took me, I think, a good 6 months to get to the point where I could spout off my address without getting it wrong because it was so much different than the old one. And it wasn't that I didn't remember it. It was like as soon as somebody asked me it, I was like, holy crap, now I got to remember it. And I'm like, and I'd start trying, I'd almost give them the old one or I'd flip one of the numbers around. I'm like, wait, that's not right. So, I mean...
Well, that's different. That's reasonable. You change something, it's going to take you a while. I mean, for how long, or, well, maybe not this year, but normally when December turns to January, people are writing the former year for a long time. Now, I think this year people will not be writing 2016 because most people are like 2016 FU. They will be happily writing 2017. But that change. We fear change.
I love the way you threw that little bit in there. We fear change.
Yes. You didn't tell him about my pubes, did you?
No.
It's Gart. Wayne's World, man. I'm quoting Wayne's World. God, I feel old.
Well, I mean, honestly, if it wasn't for the fact that I'm older than you, I probably would have remembered the reference, but I think I've forgotten most of everything I used to know that I thought was funny. It's now been replaced by nightmare scenarios regarding political figures, and it's all scary in here now. My head is a very scary place. Don't come in here.
So, Bryce, how do you deal with this every week? I mean, do you try to cheer him up or what?
No, I mean, usually he goes out of his way to make sure I start yelling at him.
Yeah, I was gonna say normally I like when Rick starts yelling. It gets fun.
The kid's a glutton for punishment. He actually tries to annoy me on purpose, so I'll start yelling.
Exactly. Makes the show better.
Well, that is true. See, that's probably why you never get any feedback from when I'm on the show, because it's like reasonable discussions and we hardly ever like raise our voices and stuff. We disagree, but we're like being nice about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, and that kind of feeds into one of the stories that we were going to talk about with the fake news things that are going on. Another thing that is actually driving a lot of media news cycles lately is nobody really pays attention to what's going on in the news unless people are yelling at one another. It's like news to sell things anymore, to get clicks or to get views or whatever they're looking for. It's almost like the news has had to have become like a UFC fight of sorts, because if they're not yelling and screaming at each other and telling them how much each other sucks, nobody's paying attention anymore.
Well, I think that goes back to the old adage that in journalism you're always taught if it bleeds, it leads, because people by nature are drawn to tragedy. You think about So think about it this way: if you go to a restaurant and you have great service, you might tell one or two people. You might tell more people that the food was really good. But if you go to a restaurant and you have awful service, the food stinks, you're going to tell 20 some odd people at least. And that is, for whatever reason, us damaged humans, we are drawn to the negative. It's not an excuse. It's not. I think it sucks. I think it's ridiculous that, tragedy is always what draws people in. It's just kind of the human nature, the way things are. But yeah, it's you're right. If people aren't screaming at each other, they turn off the TV. Though how how people can handle it, I don't know, because you turn on a lot of these political shows on TV, and it's legitimately two people screaming at each other to the point where you cannot understand what's being said. I don't see how that's entertaining, and it's certainly not enlightening or informative.
Yeah, no, our news, well, I don't really call that news. I call it mostly media. I think there's a big difference between news and media. But the media in our country is pretty awful. You flip from one channel to another, and they're telling you completely different narratives, really just complying with an echo chamber for both sides. Yeah, and I mean, I disagree with one side more than the other, but I really just stopped watching, MSNBC, Fox, CNN. I don't watch them anymore. They're just not. It's not entertaining anymore or ever really to watch some pundit who you have no idea who they are. They could have as much qualification as me to tell you about how the political landscape is. Meanwhile, they know absolutely nothing, as evident by this year's election, and we're supposed to listen to them for our entertainment and base our opinions off people who literally know absolutely nothing about what they're talking about. I actually just, a couple months ago, I went to a conference where I heard, what's his name? I can't remember his name, but I just saw him on TV yesterday, and he's like one of these pundits. He's an author, or whatever, and he says, "Oh no, Trump, he'll never win. He's not going to win. He can't win. He doesn't have the votes to win, so I wouldn't worry about it." And this guy was telling college-age students this. And then he goes on TV. I just saw him yesterday as I was flipping through the channel. I said, "Oh, I remember that guy. I wonder what he has to say now." He's saying the exact opposite of what he said at the conference. He said, "Oh, well, we should have expected that Trump was going to win. There's so much hate in America." And, I mean, if that didn't prove it to me that it's just so dishonest and so focused on viewership, then I don't know what will. But it's not news.
Yeah, that could be in the case like that. That could be one of two things. That is either a gigantic case of CYA covering your hiney, or two, it's a case of, depending on how we worded it, it's a case of hindsight is 2020, and looking back at it, going, "Darn, we should have figured this out. We should have seen this." So depending on how it's worded and whatnot, it's one of two things. It's either covering his butt, "No, I'm actually really smart. Please keep bringing me on your show because I need the paycheck," or it's, "Well, we called that one wrong, and we should have figured that out. There are a lot of pissed off white people." And because let's be honest. Who got Trump elected? Angry white people, because they showed up in droves, and all the other people, the folks on the other end of the spectrum, really didn't. Because was anyone excited about Hillary Clinton? I mean, it got to the point where I wasn't like going to vomit in my mouth voting for her, but I was never excited.
People felt about Donald Trump the way I felt about Bernie. They were just very, very enthusiastic about him. And I don't think that they voted for him because he was a Republican or his message. They just liked him because he was him, and it was a new face that they could, side with, because they couldn't trust Hillary. But actually, I really, I genuinely believe that while Trump is doing interesting things right now, like with Carrier, I watched that whole speech he gave at Carrier, and I thought it was great. And, he kind of ended on a note that, you're all going to have a Merry Christmas and stuff like that or whatever. But I really wonder in the long run if that is a beneficial move. I'm curious how Rick feels about that decision. What is that, a crony capitalist decision? Is that what do you feel, Rick, about the Carrier thing?
I'm on the fence with the Carrier thing because, on its face, it is basically, it can be considered crony capitalism. But to be fair, at this point, he hasn't even assumed control of the country yet. So he's actually kind of working within the confines of the system as it exists now. And to put this in perspective, because everybody's upset over the $7 million, I don't know if you guys follow along with the federal fumbles report that's now being put out by Senator James Lankford when the Oklahoma senator that used to do it actually retired. But now this year's report just came out, and when I was digging around last week, I didn't realize that I'd actually found last year's report. But one of the things that I came across that has kind of put this in perspective for me, between, I believe it was 2011 and 2014, the Department of Defense actually spent $43 million on a gas station. Guess where they put said gas station?
Afghanistan?
Yes. Guess what kind of gas station it was?
Phillips 66?
No. But it's
7-Eleven.
It's an important distinction. So they spend $43 million on a gas station. Now, there are multiple types of gas stations anymore, because you can have the ones that do the regular fuel, or you can have the ones that do the compressed natural gas. This one was a $43 million gas station that was built to provide compressed natural gas fuel to the people of Afghanistan. Two very important problems with that. One, the Afghan country doesn't have the capability or the delivery system to get compressed natural gas to said gas station. Two, even if they did, none of the cars in Afghanistan run on compressed natural gas because they're not built there, and the people that live there can't afford the conversion. So we literally flushed $43 million down the toilet. Literally. That's only one.
Is that if you build it, they will come type of thing?
I kind of think maybe that's where they were going with it, but maybe we should have started by building some sort of like whatever actually can get compressed natural gas from point A to point B. Maybe that should have been an if we build it, they will come, and then we could have worried about the gas station later. Just saying.
No, I know, but I mean, like, with that example, I mean, that doesn't disprove or prove that Carrier was a waste of money. And I really don't know how I feel about it, and I think I'll wait to see. I mean, it's good that 800 or so people have their jobs.
It's 1,000.
I heard that 300 were added to that list. And I heard it was originally 1,100, but 300 were added to the list because those were jobs that weren't even in threat of moving but worked at that plant. So I heard that in reality it was 800 jobs saved, but I mean it's really minimal.
Every report I've seen is 1,000. Now again, I want to kind of put this in perspective because again, right now we're talking about President-elect Trump. He's working within the system that currently exists. Now you can call it whatever you want, but think about the 1,000 jobs that just stayed in Indiana's economy. Think about the 1,000 families that are going to be able to continue to have access to income, going to be able to continue to put food on their table. And to put this in yet another bit closer to home perspective, we spent $7 million the last time the Obamas took a vacation.
No, I agree with you, with what you say, that, you know, you're going to have all those people back working in the economy. I'm just curious if that's how our economy should be moving. I'm just not sure. I mean,
so hang on. Let's back up a second, because when Obama was all up in green jobs and handing out money like candy to places like Solyndra, how did you feel about that?
I mean, I think that's more innovation, though. I don't think that manufacturing jobs in an air conditioning plant is innovative.
So in other words, you were okay with it when he was handing out money like candy to places that have now gone under, instead of actually hanging on to jobs that actually do provide a service and actually can keep an economy afloat. Now, look, I'm calling both what they are. Yes, on the face of it, both of them are crony capitalism. But the difference is one of them may actually accomplish something. And on another note, again, he hasn't even taken office yet. So he's working within the constraints of the system as they exist now. So I'm not going to fault him for doing what he said he was going to do and finding a way to keep jobs in this country. Because let's get this really real at this point. We're talking about jobs that were moving to Mexico. The folks that work at Carrier in Indiana make $30 an hour plus benefits. Some of the jobs that are still moving to Mexico, they make $11 a day plus benefits. It's really hard to compete with that.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, and I think that back to your previous point on the on like Solyndra jobs and whatnot. My point was that one, I think that they're hard to compare because clean energy is going up against an entirely different industry. It's not like there's clean air conditioning that has to compete with old air conditioning, and thus. But I would say that when you're investing in technology, that's very different than investing in something that's not technology, because when you invest in technology, more jobs, more free market opportunities. You're going to have much larger growth if it succeeds. But to the point about the air conditioning, again, I'm really not sure how I feel. I mean, I see many pros and cons on both sides. I think it is ultimately a good choice, probably. That's my gut feeling. But I'm still hesitant because I don't think this is, it's not necessarily, free market capitalism as we're used to. So, I'm interested to see how it goes. And yeah, I mean, I'm also interested to see what he's going to do with China. I mean, because this is, are we going to pay every single company to stay here? I mean, whatever happened to the idea that he was going to place a 35% tax on Carrier and Ford, and he stood up to them and said, you leave this country, you're getting a 35% tax, that's it. But what happened to that? Now he's paying them to stay. So
okay, well to be fair, he's not in office yet.
He's not in office yet, Bryce. So maybe he will do those things. But just again, to put this into perspective, because you keep talking about Solyndra and all the other green jobs that Obama tried to create that were supposed to make everybody a better place, Obama clean energy loans leave taxpayers in $2.2 billion hole. Billion with a B. That money will never be able to be reclaimed because it was a waste of time and a waste of money, and it basically became a federal slush fund. So if we're going to talk about a difference between $7 million to keep 1,000 people employed or $2.2 billion on a gamble that didn't pay off, I'll take the $7 million sure thing all day, every day. I'm just saying.
So is that billion with a capital B or a little b?
In the headline, they made it little. I would have probably put the whole thing in caps lock. I'm just saying.
I actually see that the Obama administration, as a result of announcing, as a result of their, what they've been doing, there's been $4 billion of private sector investment in clean energy. And I think that that's directly attributable to the Obama administration's furious investment in it. And now we've seen clean energy more than quadruple under his administration, creating thousands and thousands of jobs that can't be shipped overseas because you can't install a solar panel on someone's roof from China. So, I mean, I don't know where you're reading that from, but I know that Solyndra was a failed investment, but I've seen nothing but pretty good things coming from the Obama administration's investment in clean energy and what it's done for private sector investment.
Well, that's funny because the Washington Times article from April 27, 2015 says the exact opposite. Taxpayers are now on the hook for more than $2.2 billion in expected costs from the federal government's energy loan guarantee programs, according to a new audit held Monday that suggests the controversial projects may not pay for themselves as officials had promised. And if you keep looking, if you just Google green energy jobs, you're going to see article after article on a timeline that start from about 2015 all the way through halfway through about 2016. They keep talking about the different federal guaranteed loans that were racked up over and over and over again, that in all reality likely will not be able to be repaid because these energies kept flopping on their face because the economy wasn't ready to support them yet. Now, I am a free market capitalist. I don't agree with government getting involved in the middle of jobs. I don't agree with governments picking winners or losers. But let's be really clear right now. He is not president right now, and he's working within a system that he actually is confined to right now, and he's actually managing to keep one of his campaign promises, which in a lot of ways, Barack Obama, when he was president-elect Barack Obama, was making all kinds of promises about how his medical programs were going to save us money that wound up not happening. There were all these things that he said that wound up not coming to pass, not to mention the fact that Barack Obama, when he was talking about the Carrier deal, pre-election, told everybody that Donald Trump was talking out his ass. And yet Donald Trump has managed to save 1,000 jobs. Now, again, I'll take a $7 million sure thing all day, every day over a $2.2 billion loss on a gamble. That's just me.
I mean, not
fired up, folks. Fired up.
I mean, not to mention that Republicans obstructed everything that Obama wanted to do. So I don't think that what Obama promised ever got through. But that's
no. Hang on, we're not going to do that because you know what happened when the Democrats had power? They removed this thing called the supermajority from being able to get most everything passed. They made it to where that wasn't a requirement anymore. Obama had control of both houses in Congress for 2 years and still couldn't manage to get anything done, even though he had majorities in both. So don't lay this at the Republicans' feet. You want to know when things started shifting? It was in the midterms when the people decided they'd had enough of the handful of things he was able to get crammed through, and they sent Republicans in to put on the brakes. Now, that's where things started shifting. But at this point, we're long. We've got to take a break. This is America, old habit. This is Finding Common Ground. We'll be right back here in just a couple minutes.
They say we offer simple answers to complex problems, but perhaps there is a simple.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
All writers are prone to becoming so attached to our characters and stories that we struggle to see why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing to full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, shaping stories into masterpieces that can stand the test of time. Editing services are provided for all genres and all age categories. Services range from critiques of the short story through to line edits of the full-length novel and copy editing for those preparing for publication. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites, as well as help with those book blurbs and promotional material. We won't abandon you to the masses. We want to celebrate with you in your successes. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services and prices, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-610-9050. That's 800-610-9050. 800-610-9050.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
Answers to complex problems, but perhaps there is a simple answer. Not an easy answer, but simple.
It's common ground. It's
right, folks, welcome back. And actually, you know what? What the hell? In honor of Dave being back with us today, there is a bit on our soundboard that we used to play all the time. And actually, it was kind of funny because I would usually, because he was making a joke about me going on a big tear right before we went to break. He used to do the same thing when we were doing this back and forth, and it used to be really funny because he would get on this really long tear, and then I would bust out with this one.
My God, are you still talking?
And then he'd keep going, and he'd keep going, and I'd give it about another minute or so, and then I'd hit this one.
Just when I think you've said the stupidest thing ever, you keep talking.
And then by then he was really mad because he realized I was using the soundboard to mock him, and he'd be like, screw it, I quit! And then I'd hit this one.
Shit, Negro, that's all you had to say.
And there was usually at least one segment of show that went exactly that way, because he would get on this really, and he would either get fired up about something, or it would just be something that he really felt passionate about, and he would really start talking, and I'd let him run for like 5 minutes and then realize he was never going to stop talking. So I'd hit that one, and he'd be like, I'm still going to finish my thought. And he'd go back into it again, and I'd give it about another 2 or 3 minutes, and then I'd hit that one. He's like, damn it, fine, okay, I quit. And it was like that.
Times,
it was like back then we were doing that we were doing Finding Common Ground. What was it? 3 days a week back then, and I would get you at least once a show with that for like a month straight until you realized what I was doing. It was fun.
That was fun. It was too much though. That was too much politics. My hat's off to you for doing this every day. So.
Brother, in between rebroadcast, live programming, and multiple shows, I do about 10 hours a week of streaming programming. That actually, at this point, a couple of, now that some of them are actually starting to be pushed out in other places, I have shows that can be heard 3, 4, 5 times a day all across the country.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Which is interesting because I can be sitting at the day job doing my regular job, and I believe it or not, this actually happened. It really freaked me out, and I'm surprised. And it just proves to me that I must talk a lot differently when I'm on the radio than I do when I'm doing the day job, because I was on with a customer, and all of a sudden I heard something in the background, and it was my freaking show. I'm not even lying. Because I heard the back from break thing, and then it was like, hello, America, welcome back. This is Rick Robinson, host of America Off the Rails. And I'm like, holy crap, they're listening to my show while they're calling me, talking to me. I hope they don't realize that's my voice.
Dude, did you get all meta and say, hey, that's me?
No, I didn't. Only because, again, I do the show under an assumed name, and since I have to use my real name when I answer the phone, I didn't want to confuse the hell out of anybody.
Oh, yeah. You should have asked, so you like that show? Rick Robinson, he's such a dork.
I thought about it, but we get monitored where I work, so I figured they'd be like, what the hell is he doing? Get back on topic.
Okay, you know what? Every call center I've ever worked in, my calls are monitored. Do you think I did anything? You know how much stupid crap I said on the phones? A lot.
Yeah, but you don't work in call centers anymore, so you can get away with saying that now.
Praise Jesus. Yeah, no, now I talk to people face to face, which is actually so. And sometimes it's you miss. Every once in a while, you miss being able to know that you can just hit a button and say obscenities, or throw a middle finger at the screen when you're talking to just an absolute idiot. Because I actually had someone the other day get uppity with me. And I'm like, oh, God, what? And I didn't know how to react, man. I used to be able to react. I was, you get yelled at all day long by morons, and you get used to it. And now one person, the first time in well over 6 months, gives me like real serious lip, and I'm like, what? Mommy, what's happening?
Oh,
I want my blankie.
See, that was kind of the transition for me, because every job I'd ever had before, I was kind of working in the field dealing with the public. So if somebody was mad at me, and this was back when I was either working as a private investigator or wearing a uniform and standing on a property as a security officer. So if people were mad at me, they were in my face. I remember actually getting coached once by my team lead when I first started working at Convergys, because some dude was like, I'm going to come find you, and I'm going to rip your... throw it out, and I'm gonna kill you if you don't figure out how to get this TV fixed. And I laughed at him on an open line. I'm like, dude, I'm 2,500 miles away, And I used to know, I know how to kill people for a living, so bring it.
That's fantastic.
And sadly, that was a call that got monitored. So they're like, you're lucky you're still on probation because we can't really give you the full score on this yet, and you get a bit of a cushion because you just started, but you can't do that. I'm like, honestly, I didn't even realize I did it until it was already out of my mouth. I'm sorry.
Well, that reminds me of one time when I was working at The Verge. It was a Saturday college game day football, and of course we had 400 plus calls in queue, and there was an OU game about to come on ESPN, but in certain parts of the country, the previous game that was on there was blacked out. Which, if you don't know anything about blackouts, I'm not going to bother. Basically, what it is you turn to a channel and it's like, you can't watch this right now because reasons is really the reality. So these people are calling him and we're telling them, no, look, as soon as this game that's on here is over and the OU game starts, it's going to be back. It's fine. Don't worry. And this one man from Oklahoma, all angry. Oh, he was so mad. And he was like, you guarantee it's going to work? And I was like, well, I wouldn't bet my life on it. He was like, what'd you say? I was like, I wouldn't bet my life on it. I can't guarantee I'm not going to walk out of the building and get hit by a bus. He's like, I want to talk to your supervisor. I was like, okay, hold on. It's like, sorry, I'm not going to guarantee you something that I have zero control over. I'm not being unreasonable here. And so, yeah, I when I called the supervisor line, I told him, I was like, yeah, he said this, I said this. They're like, oh, man, dude, really? Like, what you going to do? This is, of course, also the same job that they would bring people in training. After they're in training for about a week, they'd have them come out and sit and listen to calls. And they kept putting people by me. I don't know why. But they would. I was talking to a few people. I looked down and was like, so, is job market really that bad out there? Can't find anything else, right? Because, I mean, if it's between this and living in your car, take this. Otherwise, get a different job. This place sucks. Straight up told people that. And they kept sitting people by me.
Oh, well, I mean, honestly, you weren't setting false expectations, so that might have been one of the reasons they kept using you, or they were just desperate because they needed people that knew how to do the job. I don't know.
That's true. And I can get to claim that at least 3 people that I trained out of training when they came and joined my team, and my team leader had me sit with them, all went into management. So there.
And since I know most of them, I blame you. No, I'm just playing. All right, so back to politics for a second. I actually haven't listened.
Why?
Well, only because I found something that came across my feed and I thought it might be interesting to talk about. I haven't listened to the audio for this yet, so I'm not sure if it's going to correlate with the headline. So we're going to listen to it. It runs for about 1:44, and then there's actually a story that came across with it. I'm hoping the video explains it, but if it doesn't, then we'll look at the article.
God, I could use some water. In the car.
I tried to find some earlier, and there was
check 1 2 3 1 2 3. Check 1 2 3.
Is she about to drop some dope rhymes or something?
No, this is a pre-air for CNN. They're actually going to.
And she comes to me asking, kind of just setting it up. Okay, and then do you guys want the details of what we know so far? We have a lot of information. Do you guys want to get into all that? You're good, you're good. Okay.
Behind the scene broadcasting,
I can roll out all that stuff. No, yeah.
Okay, so this obviously isn't going to outline very well what the article's about. So what you're hearing there is a CNN crew getting ready to do a live drop at the rally that Trump was holding in Indiana. They actually, one of the producers had mentioned to the woman that you heard talking there that he was going to give her a signal if Trump's plane actually happened to land while she was doing the live drop, and they were going to have her start segueing into the fact that he was on the ground, etc. So then, as a joke, the producer then made a separate hand signal, and everybody was confused by that. And right before she went on the air, in her earpiece, he said, "That's the signal in case his plane crashes." Oh, just kidding. So they caught her on video with her eyes the size of saucers because she had just heard in her ear, "Trump's plane crashes." Oh, just kidding. So these people were literally making a joke about President-elect of the United States possibly being in a plane crash, and it was caught live on camera. Yay for CNN.
Let's be honest. How many conservatives made very similar jokes about Obama leading up to his inauguration and have made similar jokes since in the last 8 years? And so many worse things.
And the reason why I'm calling this one out is because I was one of the ones sitting right there with you calling out the idiots that were calling for President Obama to be assassinated or praying that his plane crashed. I just thought it was a funny story because, I mean, everybody's all incensed about it. And, I mean, it's really not a cool thing to say about someone who's going to be a sitting president. But I guess it kind of lost some of the joke in radio because the biggest thing is if you go and you look at the article, which is up on the Blaze, the freeze frame is the picture of her eyes that look like freaking saucers. And she's like, "What did I just hear in my ear?" Oh, wait, never mind. He was joking.
You know, the thing is, I live in D.C. now, so anything that goes over the airway, I just feel like the NSA is going to fucking find me now. So thanks for the convo. They're just going to hear all this crap and be like, "What's going on here?" And they're going to start watching me now.
I only have one thing to say.
No. I know what's going to happen. I know it's coming.
Aloha Akbar.
I hate you. I can feel it coming. Can we just go to the next topic?
Bryce, is that a bomb under your bed? Or you just happy
that's
to
what she
see
said.
me?
Oh, I mean,
hey, Bryce, is that a bomb?
No.
Bryce,
Okay.
Bryce, is that a bomb in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me?
Dave wanted to bring up fake news. Remember, Dave, talk about your article quick before he presses the goddamn button. I know what he's gonna press.
Press a button, Frank.
No.
Actually, I'm not even sure what button he's talking about, so I can't really hit the button. So,
are you serious? Oh, wow. Okay.
I was hoping for I just shot Marvin in the face button.
I don't have that one loaded because, yeah.
Oh, that's a crime.
I'm not going to say it. Let's just move on to the next topic. I thought Rick and I were thinking on the same page. I guess we weren't. Thank God we weren't. Let's move on.
So, Bryce, is that a bomb in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me?
Oh, God, ew. Nasty motherfuckers.
Hey, and it wasn't me. I didn't make you have to click the curse word button. I didn't do it. I've been a good boy this week.
You're actually right. Honestly, I try to withhold from cursing, but like sometimes it just rolls off the tongue.
That's what she said. Anywho.
I would have said before Donald Trump's presidency, run for the presidency, that like it'd be a good idea not to talk, foul on air, so that people can hear me one day if I ever run for any type of office further than the board ed. But then you heard Donald Trump's comments, and I feel like I could say whatever the hell I want, and I'll be just fine. So sure, why not?
Well, plus you've got the advantage of technically being a minority member. So you can always just go, well, hey, screw you. Here's my minority Trump card. Suck it.
Did you just really say minority Trump card?
I did. I got one. Pointing at it right now. Oh yeah.
So I have a question. Are you actually literally pointing to the nub, or are you using the nub as the pointer?
No, I'm literally pointing at the nub.
Nice.
Legit. No kidding. So years ago, man, when I was still working in call centers, I remember being on vacation one time when I actually was able to go on a vacation, and we were visiting my folks in Florida, and my dad and I were talking about potential long-term careers, and he's like, you really should look into getting a job at the post office. And I was like, yeah, if I ever really full-blown give up on college, that's what I'll do. He's like, they do hire disabled people, so you need to mention that. And I was like, what the fuck am I going to do? Write on my application, P.S. I have one hand? Walk in and go, hey guys, check this out.
No, just do what I do on your application. Write your first name, put in quotation marks nubs, and then put your last name.
I thought you were going to say Wright's first name.
Why did you put nubs on your... You just hold up the hand. Like, this is why.
Let me tell you.
Let me show you. Let me give you a visual.
Oh, yeah. See, you need to put Ricky, then, quote, I see in panorama, end quote, Robertson. And so when they're like, what does that mean? You look at me, go, look me in the eye.
No, the other one, damn it.
Exactly. One of the best stories ever, man. I lost it. So we're working at Southwest at the time. And when we came out of training, we had these people who sat next to us as we were taking calls. And Ricky here is taking this call, and he's doing his stuff, and the guy sitting with him, he goes, "No, you're looking at the wrong part of the screen." And Ricky looks at him and goes, "No, you're looking at the wrong eye."
I actually forgot about that. The memory that stuck with me was when they had us do those stupid graduation speeches, and I was like, yeah, and if we pass each other in the hall, just assume I'm looking at you and say hello. It makes life easier for everybody. And everybody that was sitting down lost it and was laughing, and all the management was looking at each other like, is he serious? Oh, it was so much fun.
That was such a weird job, man. You talk about a group think place. You get in there, they're like, conform. That place wigged me out from day one. It was like, yeah, I know, this is a great company. Can you stop telling us how fucking great it is? And let's just,
like day one of orientation when they showed the numbers, and you're like, one of 110,000 people that applied, and we picked you. You should feel really special. And I'm like, what have I gotten into? And are they going to start handing out Jim Jones Kool-Aid soon? Because I'm kind of freaking out, yo. The one thing, the one thing that I always thought was great, and unfortunately he didn't figure out how to do it until I was only there for about 6 more months. But when you used to log into the phones there and it would give you your extension number, he actually figured out how to program my phone. When I logged in, it would say wobbly.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So
that is fantastic.
It would actually say wobbly and then a shorter version of my real first name, because that was my nickname that I went by around there. Because it for some reason, especially if I'm working in a new place, everybody approaches me like I'm going to break if they crack a smile. So, I've just learned from the beginning, just make a joke about it and move on, because everybody seems to take my disabilities more personally than I do. So that's why anytime anybody's getting to know me, one of the first things I do is point out, yes, obviously I have an eye that looks in one direction and I have a limp. So if you have a problem with that, the problem's you, not me, and this is why. And that was one of the things that I did there to get it all out of the way. And it was funny because a lot of the folks were okay with it, and some of them were like, oh my God, it's amazing that you do that. And it made management uncomfortable from day one. And I don't know why. Why is it such a big deal when somebody that's obviously different than everybody else is comfortable in their own skin?
Because you're affecting the natural order of things, sir. Stop it.
I don't know. But anyway. We are actually about running out of time, because as far as I know, I think Bryce is actually planning on doing a show in about 2 minutes, so we need to start wrapping things up. So, Dave, since you don't get
if you guys want to join me, you're more than welcome to, because my guest canceled kind of last minute. So if you want to stay on, debate some politics, you're more than welcome to.
Dave is welcome to stay on if he has time and wants to. I have people that are currently locked up in rooms that I have to let out eventually. So,
and I would, but my daughter was already got up and she's like, "Hey, what's going on?" And we have to run to the post office before they close at noon. So otherwise, I definitely would. Thank you for the offer. I will be here next week if you guys will have me.
Of course.
So
I told you.
So maybe we can then talk about our fake news that we didn't get around to.
Yeah, I already told you, dude. You don't have to ask. If you're available on a Saturday, just hit the Skype button. You have a sitting invite. So.
Well, thank you. And real quick, something on my show that also airs here on the Spark Radio Network, Around the Ring. We're doing some cool stuff tomorrow We have a TLC preview show, and we're going to also talk about the Ring of Honor pay-per-view that was last night. And then on Monday, we are doing our first YouTube exclusive pay-per-view review. We started putting stuff on YouTube, so we're going to have that up so you can check us all out. It'll all be on our Twitter. If you, the easiest way to find it, at Around the Ring. Okay, if you're a wrestling fan, check that mess out because it's awesome.
All right, and on that note, we have got to get out of here because Bryce is coming up next, I think, now that his guest canceled. Do you still want to try to go on, or you just want to call it for the day?
No, I'll go on.
I'm just checking. I don't want to leave you stranded, but I really can't join you because my house is about to be really noisy because the wife scored a day off. So I'm going to have to produce only. So we're out, folks. Have a good rest of your weekend. Don't forget to check out America Off the Rails tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 Central, 7 Pacific on crntalk.com. Also, starting back here again on KLRN Radio tomorrow night at 11 Eastern. So you actually, like I said, there's my show runs somewhere 7 days a week, one of them. So if you like my voice, great. If you don't, tell them how much I suck, because I'm still a small fish in a really big pond. There's no such thing as bad publicity. So go ahead. Tell everywhere I run how terrible I am. They'll still enjoy the publicity. Just saying. We're out. Have a good day, folks. Take care.
They say we offer simple answers to complex problems, but perhaps there is a simple answer.